obviously. And I am lucky because my next task here is to introduce Jeremy Sanford, as I understand it. Correct, Amanda? I see
you are.
Okay, good.
Right into it.
Good. So I'm going to keep going. It's interesting, right? Because I've been able to do this work at the Genomics Institute, and I was able to be part of the molecular diagnostic lab. And it is a fantastic thing to be here and introduce Jeremy, because Jeremy Sanford, who is a professor of molecular cell and developmental biology, was really the person on campus who galvanized this lab, who made it happen. And we have had an extraordinary number of people who have been part of that. But Jeremy has been a leader throughout. So his research focuses on understanding the role of RNA binding proteins in regulating gene expression. And he's a valued member of our RNA Center at UCSC and also the Genomics Institute. He's a passionate and committed rugby coach, which I think is just as important as his research, because that passion and commitment is really what he brought to the pandemic. So he helped to start the molecular diagnostic testing lab, which is known to test COVID-19 for underserved populations, for uninsured populations in the community, and for our campus community. And despite the fact that UCSC doesn't have a medical school and it has no diagnostic testing in place before this happened, Jeremy used all of his strength, power, brilliance to push forward the lab and made sure that testing was created and that it was returned quickly, reliably to people in the community. So with that, I'm turning it over to Jeremy, and thank you very much, Jeremy.
Right on. Thank you, Isabel. It's truly an honor to be recognized by our community for the work that we're doing on campus to address these sort of shortfalls in COVID testing. I think for me, the real heroes are the scientists that are in the lab every day, delivering day in, day out for the community. And I'm going to name all these folks because they are such a tremendous team. So Namrita Dillon, Jolene Draper, Taryn Chang, Savannah Randy, Maeve Nave, Martina Peterson, Hannah Mall, Anouk Vandenboot, Chloe Anand, Natalie Gallagher, Yvonne Vasquez, Molly McCabe, Chris Caliciano, Ellen Kephart, Susan Weaver, Bob Goslin, and of course, Kayla McEwen. They are an amazing team that has just delivered just amazing work day in and day out. I'm so proud of them. We also have this fantastic leadership group, which consists of several faculty, Michael Stone, Elena Vasquez, John McMillan and Martin Kilpatrick, as well as Scott Brandt, and of course, Isabel Bjork, who is the executive director of the MDL. I think one of the real surprises about working on this project has been the way in which the entire campus really rallied around the lab. We got it off the ground in about 5 weeks after the lockdown began in March. And it really required a super coordinated effort from a lot of different departments. And it wouldn't have been possible without the real leadership at the top from our Executive Vice Chancellor, Lori Kletzer, and Chancellor Cindy Larive, who really backed this vision from the very beginning. There are a number, like 2 really key collaborators for me that have been integral parts of this as well. One is totally unexpected. That was Joe Van Beaver, who made really important contributions early on to our automated testing platform. And he really threw the gauntlet down with respect to upping testing capacity. My other key collaborator on this and partner is really Professor Michael Stone. At this point in our careers, we're both really interested in trying to find a way to make an impact beyond the basic research that we do. And this COVID-19 pandemic proved to be a great test of our collaborative spirit. It's really a tremendous privilege to be able to work so closely with such a great friend. And really his attention to detail and commitment was really a key part of the success. Also a shout out to the Stone family for taking in my family during the lightning fire evacuations. I drew a lot of inspiration and strength from my colleagues that make up the UC Santa Cruz Center for RNA Molecular Biology. This is a group of scientists that study RNA and all aspects of RNA. It's led by Harry Noller, and they are really world-class leaders in this field. And I figured if there's any place that can really do an excellent or outstanding job at extracting RNA and counting RNA from a virus like SARS-CoV-2, It's going to be in Santa Cruz, California. So, and then finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Sarah, and our kids, Josie and Liam, who put up with many, many late nights in the lab. I haven't done that since graduate school or my postdoc days, I guess. And then, of course, all the innumerable phone calls and emergency Zoom meetings, etc. And so they're all heroes to me. The last thing I want to say before I get kicked off is when we set out to work on this project, we were driven by this mission to serve the community and expand COVID-19 testing. I think a broader goal was to build partnerships between our campus, our local government, our industry, and businesses. And I really think we've been successful in that. And I'm really hopeful that these relationships are going to last well after this pandemic fades. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jeremy.